Hey guys, Wheatywaffle here today, and we are back in City Skylines playing our Rebuild or Redevelop series. And I am recording this right after the last part, but I wanted to just kind of keep going, mainly for two reasons. One, I'm feeling really inspired with what we currently have going on here, which I'll show you a bit more in a second. And two, we have this insane demand for residential, and I can't get into farming, oil industry, factories, really anything until we start meeting that demand. So my goal for the day is to fill out at least some of this area. What I did in between this part and the last part, which I'm pretty much recording these one after the other, so you guys haven't actually seen part 19 yet. So hopefully you like where this is all going, because I haven't gotten your feedback, and if not, we'll change it up. But I did go in and I set up some different neighborhoods here. So we have the Newport neighborhood, which is what I have finished kind of filling out, and I'll show you some of the detailing in a second. We have East Cyprus, West Cyprus, Anchor Narrows, or Terra Strip. These are kind of the four neighborhoods that we've worked on, or I've at least zoned out so far. These are named East and West Cyprus, mainly because we've got North Park up here, and if that is north, then East and West down this way makes sense because our avenue is Cyprus Avenue. So we have East and West, or East over here and West over here. So what did I do in between parts? I gave a few policies to this area, nothing extravagant or crazy, but I mainly just went through and filled in all the extra spots. So now all of our blocks are filled with homes. I mean, I think that this looks amazing. We do need to go in. I need to add some trees. I don't want to do the tree lined streets because I live in a big city and we don't have like this grass median on the majority of the streets in the downtown. We have trees that line the sidewalk, but they're like growing out of squares in the concrete and making the concrete all jagged and impossible to bike on. But that's what I want to have in here. So I need to go through and do a little bit of that. Over this way, I did place some just different style houses to kind of mix it up a bit. A little uniqueness to this little part of the city. We do have our hospital right here, which I then placed some larger skyscrapers next to. I even made this tiny little like plaza garden over here on, what is this? I believe this is Second. Yeah, so Second and Campbell. There's this tiny little plaza in between all of these larger buildings. And then you'll notice that all these buildings here are brick and a little bit older, but as you look this direction, we have this larger 24 household high density building, as well as this hospital and some just newer looking buildings. And as we go this direction towards the downtown, the buildings will begin to get a little bit more unique. A little bit more modern, I guess. So this is our police department. What is this building? 18 households. This here says it's 24 households, and I'm not feeling that. So we're gonna actually change this, add local settings, and let's change the total population home count of this to, let's double it to 50. Save and apply changes. There we go. 50 households. So that should start to fill in a little bit more and get some more people living in there. We'll come back and check on the mid-rise condo number 3 in a sec. But yeah, I didn't do anything super crazy. We do have this mall, the Station Department Store, that kind of fills this area nicely and backs up to the train. And I named it the Station Department Store because we've got a train station right here. And for all of those worried that when we do get a disaster, we're not prepared, over here on Greenaway Street, I did sneak in 3 emergency shelters. I also gave them routes that fill this area, but each of those holds 1,000 people, and presently Newport has 1,900 people. So we've got more than enough disaster protection for this area. What I think I need to do, though, as I've kind of been mentioning,
astrologists report that a devastating meteor will strike the city in the near future. Residents should seek shelter immediately if any is available.
Okay, we are going to be getting a massive meteor somewhere. Don't we have this guy? This should tell us detection distance 100%. Okay, we're getting a massive meteor any minute. While we wait for that, we're going to keep it playing. I'm going to just start building out some more of our downtown. So this area back here, West Cyprus, is going to be similar to what we've been building so far, which is going to be these kind of smaller brick style homes. I don't love what I did here with the key. So we're actually going to do a quick little whoops and just back that up. And I think what we'll do instead is just to round this area out, I'm going to place down a fence that goes along the sides and back. So let's just grab this here. Place this here. We're going to go right up to the back. They're going to have very small backyards in these homes. Maybe except for those living over here. And then in this back area, just so that it's filled in a little bit, I'm going to place down, turn on anarchy, and let's just place down some trees, some bushes, just something to fill in some of this area with some grass. Nothing crazy, just enough that you can't really see that this is still kind of under construction, or that there's this huge cliff. Really, it's not under construction, it's just really poor planning. But so we'll put that in there. Do we have any luck with the meteor? No. So while we wait, let's go ahead and start filling in West Cyprus, at least these 2 blocks. For the most part, it's going to be very similar to what we've been doing. So I'm just going to go in here. We are going to find these buildings by Fane. Hold on. Is it literally hitting the same spot? Oh, I can't pause it. What's going on? Why can't I pause?
A meteor strike has occurred. Avoid the impact site and head to shelter if any is available.
Okay, this is the second time we've had a meteor strike in the literal exact same location. That's awesome. A 9.1 meteor is kind of insane. We've got 1 and 2. Okay, this is meteors, just meteors. That's incredible. All right, well, I'm glad it didn't hit the city because I didn't really want to deal with a disaster today, but I'm also kind of bummed it didn't hit the city and we would have to have dealt with a disaster today. Let's go in, let's do low density for sure. And we are going to just kind of do a quick time lapse of me placing all 6 of these blocks. So, well, here we go. All right, so we're interrupting the time lapse to talk about this sinkhole we've got here. There's a future sinkhole coming over here. It's not really going to hit anything too terrible. Like, this is easy enough to fix, but disasters are coming closer and closer by the day. I do notice that we do have a little bit of an issue. I did try to intersperse some industrial into here, and it looks like the people are none too happy about it. It's starting to make some residents sick. So I think what we'll do is we're going to leave it. But I think what we need to do is we need to build some better infrastructure out here to deal with the fact that some of these residents are going to be sick. What I am going to do is I'm going to replace this building where the people are sick with a hospital, it's technically called a small elderly home, but it basically functions just like any normal clinic. So this will go, they'll send out trucks to then go and pick up the sick patients and bring them back. I at least think that's how that functions. If I click on health, and we're under healthcare. Yeah, I mean, all these are covered. And where are you headed? You respond to a call at organic food market. Why are you responding to a call oh so far away? I wonder if all of these already have people assigned to them that are just taking their time to get in. So I am going to leave this though. I know that it's unfortunate that like there's this small group of factories here that are so close to where our people live, but in real life, that's just how the world works, and I want this city to be a little grungy. I wanted to have the parts of it that like aren't polished and aren't super perfect, like a lot of times we try to build in these kinds of things. I want it to have a little roughness to it. So let's go ahead and grab some trash, speaking of roughness, and just throw some trash in the backyard here. I used to have these trash piles that I downloaded from the Steam Workshop, and I don't think, I mean, I know I'm not subscribed to them anymore, so I'm gonna have to go back and get some of those. But I just want to like roughen this area up. I think this will all end up being concrete, and just for the fact that this is pathed up and looks strange, we're just gonna do this whole area. So all of this will be covered in concrete. It makes this area definitely less desirable, but that's just kind of part of building in a downtown. Do we have decent enough fire coverage? It could be better. We have a little fire station there, but I wouldn't mind maybe throwing another one in here. Here's our sinkhole. It's absolutely going to destroy that road.
A sinkhole has occurred somewhere in the city. Stay out of harm's way and contact authorities with any information.
This sinkhole destroyed nothing. The train is just fine. The road is just fine. I mean, it's a little too close for comfort, but nothing got broken. Okay, y'all, what should we do with this sinkhole? This is actually kind of cool. I kind of love that this sinkhole just formed, and it didn't ruin anything. It formed right in the middle. That is so strange. All right, there's our sinkhole. I think it might for always and forever be wrapped up in a fence, because that's incredible that it didn't break anything. All right, so back to what we were doing. So I quickly, you saw in the time lapse, just quickly kind of went through and zoned out 6 more, I guess 3 more blocks, but 6 more areas of housing. And for West Cyprus, that now brings us to 1375. I do think we're experiencing somewhat of a death wave. This area here was at 2000 and now it's at 1791. East Cyprus has 15 and Ortera has 0. So yeah, I don't think, is it Anchor Narrows? Not really. I think it's just kind of how this has kind of been set up a bit. These people are still super sick. I do think that there are vehicles on the way, private vehicles, pedestrians, and maybe there aren't, and that's just kind of what they got to deal with. But I kind of like that. I'm gonna say it again. I like that there are some areas of the city that just aren't perfect. So let's add in some type of death care. I think that I would like a cemetery, and maybe this could be like a small little park area here that has a cemetery built into it. So the cemetery could face this direction. Yeah, hold on. I like where this is going. Let's make this a tiny little park. I'm not totally set on this curved road. I did see, I'm sorry, I cannot remember who commented this, but someone mentioned that they didn't like this curved road going out this way. I don't love it or hate it. So I'm comfortable if we want to change it later, we definitely can. For now, and I want to get your guys' feedback kind of on the whole story that I've told so far with these 2 episodes. So until we do that, I'm not going to make any crazy changes just yet. But let's go ahead and just put in the entrance there. We'll put in an exit exactly opposite that. And then we'll place, I think, 2 other smaller entrances. We'll place one on either side of the cemetery. Let's go ahead and just surround this with fences. And you know what? We're going to try this. Let's do the parallel. Okay, let's go from here to here. Go to here, enter, and then using move it, I can grab this piece. It doesn't have to perfectly connect up. I just want to get close. Put that right there, beautiful. And then if we come down this way, we're gonna grab this one and bring this back. Okay, exit, move it, go from here to here, switch to the other side, enter. Go back into move it, bring this guy right onto its fellow part there, and then bring this one right into here. And then let's just do this other piece. So we'll go from here to here. Great. And then we'll go from here to here. Great, and then using move it, we can kind of quickly adjust this so that it all works out pretty well. I don't know if that was totally faster, but it was definitely better than nothing. So, I mean, it was nice to not have to measure those curves myself. That was good. All right, for this park, I am thinking that I would like this to be pretty rigid. I know it's not the most exciting thing to look at, but I kind of like that. And then I also think that there will be limited services in here, but the main intention of this park is to be a kind of gathering place for, oh, you're telling me it doesn't meet, for people who are finishing up like a funeral or something. They can come over here, come down to the park, and this is where they'll go and like have a picnic afterwards, or just like if they want to spend time together, they'll come here. So let's do a little bit more work in here. Let's turn off the connection to the node pieces. And let's just send these through from all 4 directions. And then I think we can just move this stuff around. Let's move, what's the best way to do this? I guess it is to remove this, put this like here, and then place this back where it was. Yeah, that's not bad. Okay, and then in terms of trees, I don't think we're gonna do a whole crazy amount, except for right over here. I know I'm gonna want some decent tree coverage along the fence itself that is touching the highway. And I know I'm only really using these, the newer content pack trees. These are just so good. All right, so we've placed some trees along the edge here just to kind of block from the highway, nothing too extravagant. And I am gonna place a few in and around these areas. So we'll place 3 there. We'll place 3 there, really in a straight line. Place a few that way, place some over here, as well as some of the larger companion trees. And then I'm also gonna just throw down a few of these as well, to just have like a small covering of trees in the area with a few bushes coming out as well. Okay, that looks good. And then let's do the concrete and just cover this center plaza in concrete. I think that'll look really nice. So we'll kind of come along and down this edge here and go on up. Okay, so we've got a little plaza area with paths so people can walk through, as well as just a small park to hopefully help increase some of this land value. Some of these buildings are level 5. So what we can do if we're really having issues is we can force them to downgrade to level 3. And let's go to 3, force downgrade, and the building itself will still stay because it's historical, but they'll have less of a requirement for their house to be satisfied. That's something I did over in this area. Some of these buildings were complaining about not being at a high enough level, so we just force downgraded them, and that gave us what we needed. Okay, 3, 3, 3, and then this is 3 as well. Okay, great. So we've got healthcare, we've got death care. I wouldn't mind doing maybe a childcare center over here, only because we're so close to a park. I would like to maybe also find a different childcare center, because although this one is a really pretty model, it just doesn't fit with the type of area we're building in right now. There we go. We dealt with all of those issues. Fire, we just did, correct? No, we never built a fireplace. Let's do this one. I've not actually built this one yet. Is there a path right there? There's not. All right, we're gonna put a firehouse right here. What does that look like? Oh, very cool. Nice firehouse. The tree is kind of jutting right into the back windows, so we're gonna move that over a bit. Not bad. Police, we're fine. Yeah, we've got decent police coverage, so we don't really need anything else there. Education, we have an elementary school, we have a high school. Our university definitely needs some attention, and I'm thinking I want to build one down this way, and maybe it can be right here on the edge. I'm not entirely sure yet, but we do need to think about a university. I don't actually know what this Broom Street counts as. So let's see, we have 3350 for elementary, and 6,500 for high school. We'll just put it right here. 3,350, 6,500, 3,500. So this is technically an elementary school. It's in a really atrocious spot, so it's not actually going to stay there. For now, it can go down here next to this other building we have here. Look, and there's people, and this dog is trying to... What? And there's another person inside? Wow. I like that people actually like use these buildings. Granted, they're not modeled inside, but that's pretty cool. Like, there's a dog. Very cool. Okay, so we've expanded a few more blocks out that way. That's awesome. What we've not done with any of this is think about any kind of connectivity. I haven't done any buses for the downtown yet. That's something we still have to get into, but I would like to do an urban subway. This building kind of fills into these different gaps. It does require the subway to be underground, which I know that some people aren't thrilled by, but I think that's going to be a really good addition to this area. So let's actually get rid of that building. Just a random commercial building. And let's place this building here. Oh yeah. So we've got this nice underground subway. Let's send this underground. Okay, let's turn on our snapping tool there. And for now, I'm just going to kind of go in a very direct route. We might end up changing this once we build out a bit more of this area. But for now, this like super direct route will be just fine. We can use this center station to connect straight on over and up. And we'll connect straight on down, which this just allows us to get people from this neighborhood directly to the station without them having to walk, you know, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks. Okay, I think that looks good. Another change I know I want to make while we're just kind of messing around with all kinds of stuff is let's bring it back to the surface and let's do this to the ground. Turn collision off. I would like to change this road to a regular road, and there's a reason for this. Again, as I kind of mentioned, I want to get rid of that side of grass, that kind of like strip that is added to the game. And what does that look like? Not bad. All right, so we're going to extend this all to be concrete, although I'm getting a little happy with it, and it is not going as smoothly. There we go. So we're going to extend all this to be concrete. And just for the possibility that people will use it, we could even try to squeeze, like if we do ground level, right? What does that look like? Looks fine. So we're going to do this small pathways, and I'm hoping that this will allow people to walk from the sidewalk onto the quay. I don't know if that's real or not, but we're going to try it. So there we go. We've got that addition there. And then I want to come in here and I want to place these trees along the edge directly over top of this small area that we just painted over. So instead of doing the tree-lined road, which removes all of our parking and forces trees on both sides when they don't always look the best on both sides, we're going to do it ourselves. Make a tree-lined road, but it keeps a larger sidewalk, it adds in a pathway that's hidden under these trees, and it lets us connect to the quay. I can't guarantee we're going to ever use the quay, but it lets us connect to it. I also think that while we're here, I think I want to also fill this in. I would just rather pave it all over and pretend it's not there. I think it just looks a bit cleaner, looks a little bit nicer. Okay, that seems pretty good. We've got 2 blocks here that I'm not totally satisfied with in terms of their coverage. And I think what I want to do is make sure we're just sticking to the houses. I don't want to do any business or industry. So what if we come over here and we grab our, let's do high density. Do we have any kind of, I mean, these are great, but I want to do more like single unit buildings. Something like this could be a good idea. It's a little tall though. Those are a little bit too modern. I kind of want buildings that like the ones we have over in Lidditz Park, that like these. Yes. So these like kind of condo style high-rise buildings. And I want to have like a few of them all together, almost like a government housing complex. I don't like that they're all the same color. Oh crap, I just deleted the power line. Gotta slow down. What about these ones? Okay, these are different. They come with concrete around them, and I don't necessarily love that. What about this? This is the same, just a bit smaller. Okay. I need to go find, I think, a better... Ooh, hold on. Let's do these right here. It's a really horrible spot to live, so it's not going to be the best in terms of noise. Better yet. Alright, that power line's just gone. It's just getting out of here. We're going to place two of these next to each other. And I need to get the recolor mod so I can change the color of these, because I think that these will look better once they're the same color. But I think we'll place those there. We will do one of the paths that are from Park Life, because that flattens the land around it, which helps disguise some of those issues. And we can also bring that in along the back, again, just to disguise the issues that we're having there. I think directly behind here, this area can be a small parking lot to service the people not only living here, but also just for the city. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll move the fourth one up a little bit, facing a different direction, which is not exactly the move. Let's rotate this. And really, we want to rotate all of these because the handicapped parking would be facing closer to the building, I would presume, and not so much facing an alleyway type street. Also, this is called Anchor Narrows because in Philly there's a place called Dickinson Narrows, and this is Anchor Street, so I named it Anchor Narrows. There's no more to that story. Okay, let's go do a few more of these buildings. We're gonna do high density one, so it's going to be a little bit busier over this way, a little bit larger. I think it means that these single families don't make as much sense, so we're going to have to change those. But we're going to place just a few there. They've got their own kind of decorations in their backyards. And I think we'll place... You know, we're really going to pack them in. This particular block is going to be pretty high density. We're going to need it. And it's just something that this city is going to start to see. So maybe this area is just really, really dense. I mean, really small alleyways in between the buildings. Maybe these are too big. See, this is why this is a new kind of style for me of play. Like, I don't typically do this type of gameplay where I plan these out and do them all at once. I try to, if I'm placing the buildings, plan a little bit in advance so I feel I appear a bit more polished. Today you're just getting all kinds of, you know, whatever I feel. That's what we're doing. Let's place a few of these. I would like them to be a little bit closer. Actually, I'd like them to be a lot of it closer. Let's start from there. Place a few of those there to kind of separate that out. And then on this side here, I think we're just going to do some concrete. Just along that edge. Beautiful. Okay.
Warning. Experts predict an earthquake could hit the area soon.
Okay, we've not built the required disaster protection service to get more information about this disaster, and we have earthquake sensors everywhere. So if we check our earthquake sensor, it's not going to be in any of our areas that have population, except for potentially Washoe, but I don't think it will. And here it comes. Where's it at? Over here. Man, this shoreline is going to be impossible.
An earthquake is occurring. Don't panic and wait for help if you are in the affected area.
Oh, it's going to definitely hit that train line. Man. Yeah, this is going to see tons of earthquakes. We've had 3 earthquakes already on this particular side of the map. And a 9.1? I think that's what it was. I mean, that's a pretty decent earthquake. Do we have issues in the city, like our houses burning down or people getting all bent out of shape? Cemetery can be opened. We have a fire back there. Not a big deal. We've got some issues with some goods, so we'll have to work on that connectivity in the next part for sure. But I think that this is all doing pretty well. I mean, Newport now has 1587, so Newport's population has dropped. I don't really know why people are moving out of the area. Operating normally. Like, we're still totally employed, right, at some of these places, but for some reason, just the overall population has dropped. This has actually increased, and we're still falling. East Cyprus has fallen by just a few people. Anchor Narrows has actually started to get a bit of a population, and West Cyprus has 1,600 people. So I think overall the population is going up. We want statistics. It's kind of going up. It's really, for the most part, staying the same. But why don't we go ahead and try something a little different? Let's go to themes. I was working on enable themes. Let's do low-rise brick, city brick. And let's just place down right along here a few buildings. And let's just see what fills in. Let's just do it on 3 times speed. I'm curious, with such a demand, I want to see with zoning if we can get a similar look to what we've done in the rest of this area. All right, the final building here is filling in. I mean, this worked out pretty well. Tons of households have moved in under construction. So we'll have to make sure that it doesn't get too duplicative. Like, we have a lot of the same here. No, these are all the same. So I need to find some more assets because I would love to keep this going where I can also just start to zone parts of the city and it'll still get the same kind of impact. But Anchor Narrows now has 512 and that's going to keep ticking up, which is awesome. So I think that's where we're going to leave this part here. I mean, it's nothing extravagant. The goal was to increase the population and we minorly did that. I'm thinking we might do, a few more neighborhoods back this way and we'll maybe just zone them and see kind of what we can get out of them. But I'm thinking this looks pretty good. I'm loving the way it looks from up high. I think this looks awesome. So guys, let me know what you think of this. Let me know if you have any suggestions for increasing the population. I think I just need to build, these are low density. I think I just need to start building some higher density buildings and that'll hopefully fix it. Tell me what you think about this. In reality, this is a thing. There's industrial and like these types of facilities in cities intermixed somewhat close, or if not right next to. But if we hate it, or if we get tired of seeing the symbols that people are sick, we can change it. But I think this is all around a pretty decent expansion. Takes a lot more time, but I think the payoff is worth it. So guys, thanks so much for watching. Go ahead and leave me any comments, feedbacks below. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video and subscribe if you haven't. And I will see you all in the next one.